I'm Shane Ramer. You're listening to That Sober Guy podcast. And this week, I'm proving that you don't need alcohol to have fun and still have a social life. Now, quick question for you. Have you ever walked into a wedding, a barbecue, a work happy hour, a work event, and immediately it feels like everyone in the room is staring at you because you're not drinking, and you feel awkward, you feel weird, like somehow the bartender is going to announce over the loudspeaker, the intercom, "Attention everyone, Shane Ramer ordered a club soda. He's weird. In fact, he's a big pussy because he doesn't drink." Nobody's going to do that. But it feels like that sometimes, right? You're like, oh, everyone's looking at me. Everyone's going to know. Everyone's going to judge me. It's just not true. Just not true. So today we're kicking off a brand new 4-week series from my book, Sober Guy, How Do I? Real Answers for Men Who Want to Quit Drinking, Lead Strong, and Win at Life. In fact, there is the book, and it's an easy read, and it's got a lot of great chapters in it. We're going to cover a couple of those chapters, a few of those chapters in the next couple of weeks. And so each week I'm going to read through a chapter. I'm going to break it down, and I'm going to give you some real life tools that you can use immediately. They're actionable steps. They're simple. And today's question for this one is a big one. Like, how the hell do you stay social when you quit drinking? This is a big one for so many dudes out there, both in their personal lives and in their businesses. Networking, it kind of comes with the territory in certain industries as well. The alcohol factor. So one of the first weddings I went to sober was, it was weird. It was hard, and you walk into a wedding, just picture this. And, the music's blasting, everyone's dressed up. The open bar is just glowing off in the corner. It just looks beautiful because everyone's there to get fucked up. Let's go. Right. It was like, everyone's excited. And there I am standing there in line at the bar. The palms are sweaty. And I'm like, man, if I order a water right now, everybody's going to know. And they're all looking at me, and they're going to think I'm a weirdo. They're going to whisper, man, what happened to Shane? Did he get in some trouble? Did he join a cult? Like, what's going on here? And so I finally get to the front of the line, and the bartender goes, what can I get you? And I said, hey, I'll have a club soda and maybe a little bit of cranberry, throw a lime or a lemon in it, right? It's one of my favorites, one of the go-tos from early on. And you know what happened when I did that? Nothing, absolutely nothing. Nobody cared. No one gave two craps about what I had just ordered. The bartender handed me the water and the cranberry like I was just another dude in line. In fact, I'll say this too. I probably get more often than not when someone serves me a non-alcoholic drink, whether it be at a function, at a restaurant, just like a waiter. Like just the other night, actually, we went out with some friends for dinner, and I ordered an athletic brew because they were having a couple drinks themselves. And so I said, I'll partake in the toast, and I'll have an NA one. And when I ordered it, his face lit up, and he goes, "Oh man, those are so good. I have this one and that one." And I could tell he was sober right off the bat. When you know. And I have that happen way more times than the other way around, where they look at you with shame and because you're not drinking. It's becoming much more normalized is what I'm trying to say, which is great. Takes a little bit of the pressure off there. But nobody cared at the end of the day, okay? And the people around me, they were too busy worrying about their own drinks and their own party and, yelling at each other, trying to talk out loud and did you hear over the DJ and the music. And probably by the end of the night, they've told the same story about 16 times. And, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. And I've been there myself. So I'm not, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite. It's just what we do sometimes when we're in that mindset, that mind state where the life of the party revolves around alcohol. But that was the first big lesson for me, I think, that the pressure to drink is in our heads. And people aren't thinking about us even close, even close as much as we think they are, or we think they should be, or they judging us. No, it's just not happening. It's just not happening. And I probably should have mentioned the title to this chapter. This comes from chapter 3. I probably should have said that at the beginning of the episode, but it's okay. Chapter 3, Sober Guy, How Do I Stay Social Without Alcohol? So I didn't know if I'd mentioned that, but this does come from chapter 3. And there's 11 chapters, I think, in the book. So each one has some great takeaways and some actionable items, maybe a quick story that you can use like immediately, which is great. That's why I wrote the book. I wanted to be, I wanted to have some steps that you can use, and some things that you can use in the moment, right now, tomorrow, at your next event, whatever that looks like, specific to this chapter at least. So why does socializing feel so much harder when you're sober? Let's talk about that a little bit. So for years, if you think about it, you think back to your drinking career. I think back to my drinking career. Alcohol was the social glue. Society even says that. The culture says that. That's just what you do. Most of the pressure to drink is in our own heads, though. It's us going along with everything else. It's us going along and being a follower instead of standing up and being a leader and saying, nah, this isn't normal behavior. I know society says it's normal behavior. I know maybe my friends, or maybe even family or work environments, maybe they say it's normal, but that's the herd mentality. And that's not normal when we look at it from a level head and a level perspective. And people aren't thinking about that as much as they should be. And they're also not thinking about what we're drinking or not drinking as much as we think they are. And so when you take that out, when you take out the social anxiety aspect of it, and you start to think from a level-headed perspective on your own individual situation instead of that, that kind of herd mentality, it changes things up. But think about it. We've been conditioned for so long in the way that we lived our life, the way that I lived my life for a long time, I'll speak for myself, was, it was a built-in excuse. Alcohol was to loosen up, to laugh, to be funny, which I thought was funny. Right? To stay longer at the party, or let's keep going. Just one more. Shout out to Just One More Dave, my boy. You know who you are. That's great, man. I hope you hear that, Dave. That's awesome. That was totally organic too, not planned. Made it even better. Okay. Anyways, and then the connection piece, right? Connecting with the people you're out with, connecting with the stranger. Let me buy you a drink. Yeah. You get down, you never see the guy again or talk to him probably ever again. You probably never remember what you talked about, but there's that whole social aspect here. Okay. And a baseball game, a football game, a concert, a wedding, a party. I talk about this all the time, but it's so relevant. When you take alcohol out of all those things, that's all you've kind of known to have a social life for so many years, your brain panics. You feel anxiety. You go, how do I do this? And the key to this is finding the authentic self, which we'll get into in a little bit. But we don't know who we are. We don't know who we are without alcohol. You ever been there in a circle, or you're standing at the party or whatever, and you're sober, and there's some other people drinking. You just you don't know what to do with your hands. It's like Frank the Tank. Or I guess it'd be from Talladega Nights, whatever, Ricky Bobby. I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, what do I say here? How do I break the ice? Like, what if someone starts asking me questions about why I'm sober? What do I do? But those are all valid questions, number one. Valid questions, okay? But here's the truth. You don't need alcohol to connect, okay? You don't need it. You don't. Social confidence doesn't come from a bottle. It comes from showing up and being authentic, your authentic self, knowing who the authentic self is, confidence, security. Think back, how many times did drinking actually make things worse than better? Talk to a lot of people about that. I hear a lot of stories. Some people who are close to me, they have these things that happen. Disputes, arguments, domestic disputes, DUIs, workplace stuff, relationship issues, go down the list. 9 times out of 10, alcohol is involved in those. And you step back a minute and you go, hey, you're coming to me with like your 14th problem in 2 weeks. Have you taken a step back and looked and said, hey, there's a common denominator here. Well, there's 2 common denominators. Number 1, myself, and number 2, alcohol. So let's take a look at that. But, unfortunately, we glaze over that a lot of the times. You don't need it to have a good time. You don't need it to party. You don't need it to have fun. Okay? How many of those times, those slurred conversations, the dumb arguments, the embarrassing moments, trying to sing karaoke hammered, sometimes those were fun and funny, I got to admit. Actually, there was a few times. So, I'd be a liar if I didn't say, hey, some fun laughing. At the end of the day, though, you start doing that habitually and it becomes something that's the norm. It's not fun anymore. And the classic, regret sets in the next morning. What did I say? What did I do? Who did I call? Did I text somebody? How did I get home? Your wife or, your partner, your parents, whatever, they're mad at you. They're upset. Bad decisions. Being sober in social settings is about rewriting that perspective. You're not the odd man out. You're the guy who actually remembers the jokes, who tells a solid joke without slurring his words, who doesn't tell the same story 14 times that's half true anyways. And you're the guy who drives home safe. And in some instances, gets your friends, your family home safe. That's the guy you want to be. That's the guy I want to be. That's who I want to be. And so let's talk about some solutions here, okay? And we're going to keep this real simple. When someone offers you a drink, let's say you're at the party, you're at the game, you're wherever you are, and you want to pregame, you pre-plan. I work with my clients on this a lot because a lot of the time when I'm going through like a 12-week coaching session with clients, they're actively living their lives, right? So they have events coming up, they have family vacations coming up, they have trips, they have work events, networking events coming up. They have things that they're actively working through on how they're going to stay alcohol free during these times and work on self and finding that authentic self and all those things. And so one of the things we work on is putting a plan together. And what are we going to do? How are you going to do it? Who are you going to reach out to? What does this look like? How are you feeling about it? What is the pregame here? You ask any professional athlete, do you just go out and play the game? Or do you practice? Do you get reps in? Do you go over different scenarios in your head? Do you have a plan A, B, and C? Absolutely. That's why they're professional athletes. They're the best at what they do because they pregame, they plan, and they are prepared for when game time comes. And so you have to take that same mentality and apply it if you want to have some time and put together some time long-term performing at your top level. And in addition to that, eliminating the alcohol is one of the first places to start. So when someone offers you a drink, you don't need to give a TED talk. You don't need to explain your life to them. I mean, you can if the setting feels right and you get into a conversation and you start sharing some of your story. I'm not trying to stray you away from that. I'm just saying on the main, like day-to-day, you don't need to give a long explanation to the bartender, the guy standing next to you, or the guy you just met at the wedding about why you don't drink. You just simply decline. Say, I'm good, man. Thank you, though. You know, I'm not drinking today, or I don't drink anymore, or I'm just sticking with water tonight, man. I'm driving. Something short and sweet, you know, and if it leads to something else and it feels right and organic and you start chopping it up and maybe you have something in common, maybe you find someone who's doing the same thing. They're not drinking either. Man, that communication is powerful. And I highly encourage people, you know, and I do this myself. I'll start sharing a little bit if I feel that the situation is right, but I don't ever force it. I'm never going to force it on people either. I'm never going to force it on people like, I don't drink. You need to not drink like that. That's not going to help anybody. It's just not going to work. So 9 times out of 10, those short responses, that's all you need. And if someone presses you harder and they start asking questions, if it doesn't bug you and it feels somewhat normal to you, then cool. Like, then that's, you can kind of elaborate a little further if you want to. But first solution, keep it simple. Okay. Let's move to the next one. Number 2, have a drink in your hand. Have a drink in hand. It's weird, but true. People don't want to bug you as much if you've already got something in your hand. Club soda, a Diet Coke, a regular Coke, a water, some coffee. Doesn't matter. Whatever it is, put it in a solo cup if you're in that position. Makes it look like it if that makes you feel more comfortable. It's almost like a shield against peer pressure. And hopefully it helps alleviate a little bit of the anxiety at first too, especially those first couple of years, man, as you're going through this it's a whole new life in some instances for a lot of us, like myself, who drank for a long time. It takes time to rewire that brain and to get used to those social situations. And a lot of the time you'll find out, I don't even really want to be here. I don't really even want to be in this situation. This is lame right now, and that happens sometimes. And so you ask yourself, like, do I have a good reason to be here? Sure. Okay, cool. Let me grab something to drink, sip on it. It'll be a good little shield for me and help alleviate some anxiety. And I can join the party and decide, when I want to leave myself. Number 3, own the room. Own the room. Don't be weak and meek and quiet and, oh, I'm not drinking. Like, you don't have to be like that. Own the room. Confidence is contagious. If you walk in, all worried to death about what people are going to think, they're going to feel that and they're going to pick up on it and you're going to be weird. But if you show up relaxed, you show up laughing, you show up engaged, nobody even notices that you're not drinking. And here's a trick to this. Ask questions. I tell my daughter this a lot and my son. My wife and I talk about this. Like, if you get in a situation, you're at an event, you're at a party, wherever you are, and you get that feeling like, oh, I don't ask people questions. People love to talk about themselves. Ask them a question. Hey, how you doing? Where are you from? What do you do for work? Where do you go to school? Do you like playing soccer? Like, whatever it is, start to ask questions. It's a great way to break the ice and break it up a little bit. And it bleeds confidence, and that's contagious, and it makes it a lot less weird, and it makes it fun. Number 4, have an exit strategy. And once again, this is what I'm talking about. These things, they're not sexy. They're not like some grandiose like solution to this. They're very simple. But if you use them and you pregame and you plan, just like I talked about with the professional athletes, they do the same thing. You should be doing the same thing when you go to an event. I do the same thing still till this day. I have a plan. I know where I'm going. I know what I'm getting into. I know who's going to be there for the most part. I have everything mapped out beforehand. And like this next one, number 4, have an exit strategy. I always have an exit strategy, no matter where I'm going, what I'm doing. So some nights, maybe you're at a party, maybe you're at a work event and you're there a little later than you want to be. And it starts to get sloppy and people are getting, intoxicated, and it starts to get annoying too. Maybe you're feeling tempted a little bit. It's okay to leave when the drunk chatter starts. It's okay to do the Houdini. Bye. I'll talk about it tomorrow. I'll tell you next week. We'll connect again. You don't owe anyone an explanation for taking care of yourself. And that's a big one. And like I said, if you got to bounce and you got to do the Houdini and take off because it's, you're in a hot moment where you're feeling a little nervous or tempted, then just leave. People will understand. And if they don't, then that's on them. It doesn't matter. It's better than you going backwards. All right. Number 5, find new social outlets. Bars aren't the only place to socialize. Okay. You can try other things, a softball league, a golf league, jiu-jitsu, men's groups, church men's groups are great. Sports games, different, go to a game with a group of buddies, go to a concert with a couple buddies, be volunteer in your community. There's lots of different ways that you can find ways to socialize with people that don't revolve around alcohol. There's lots of sober clubs out there too. Start your own sober club. Start something in your area. Maybe you're into cars. I'm just giving you an example. Maybe you're really into cars and you want to start a sober car club. Everyone in this car club, we love cars. We're also sober. It's a great way to socialize and find some people in you. Because I hear that a lot too. Well, I don't know. There's nobody in my, area, or I don't know anybody. Start something. You got to step out there, and getting uncomfortable like that is going to make you grow so much. It's going to make you grow so much. Let's run through a couple of these scenarios real quick. Okay. Here's the first one. Work happy hour. Everyone's heading to the bar after work. Okay. You go. The bartender asks you, what do you want? You confidently say, I want a club soda with lime. You sip it, you laugh at the office jokes, and you leave early before things get crazy. And the next morning, guess what? You're feeling great. You're sharp. You're on point. You're on time. You're ready to get your stuff done for the day. And your coworkers are dragging ass. And that's it. You kept it simple. You showed up. You showed face. You had a good time for an hour, and you left before things got crazy. Great situation. Great scenario right there. Great way to approach it. How about this next one? A friend's barbecue. You have a reason to be there. You haven't seen your buddy in a long time. You know there's going to be some beers there. You at least want to stop by, give him a hug, say what's up. Cooler's full of beer. Grill's hot. Music's blasting. Some good reggae. You're just chilling. Sun's out. Beautiful day. Someone offers you a beer. You say, no, I'm good. I'm just drinking water today. It's all good, man. Thank you, though. You don't make a big deal about it. No, I'm good. I'm not drinking because, this and that and my wife and my job. And I really want to drink one, but I can't. None of that. It's so weak and not, you don't need to do that. It's not, hey man, thank you so much, man. I'm good, bro. Thank you. That's it. Confidence. Nobody bats an eye. You play some cornhole. You eat a couple of burgers, maybe too many, get a stomach ache, ate a couple of hot dogs, drank a couple sodas. You're the only one who actually remembers who won the cornhole tournament. If you stay that long, maybe you got out and then you go home and that's it. And you had a good time. You saw everybody. You played a little game. You ate a little food and you went home. Very possible. Self-control. Having a plan. All right. How about this last one? It's a new scene. You start, it's a local group, maybe a church, a men's group, fitness class, community event. Instead of small talk over shots, now you're building connections over real conversations. You leave feeling energized. You leave feeling great, positive, excited about life, and not drained. So this third one is a whole new scene. Okay. You're joining a sober group, or it doesn't necessarily have to be a sober group either. A quote, sober group. It's just somewhere where alcohol is not the focus. Okay. So there are community events and fitness classes and men's groups all like that, all over in most places. And you feel great when you leave those. And you feel accomplished and you feel good. So let's recap real quick before we wrap up. Most people don't care what's in your cup. Okay, number one. Confidence. I'll say it again. Confidence, not arrogance. Confidence in the social setting is absolutely huge. It's imperative to this success. It really is. It's okay to leave when things get sloppy or weird. Bye. I got to go. I'm out of here. Part of my plan I have in place. And there's also to recognize this and to look around. There's a whole world of social opportunities outside of bars and outside of drinking. You just have to put some effort in and look. And not only that, you also have to get a little uncomfortable and try it out sometime. And one of the things we have that you can join for free at thatsoberguy.com is our men's online community, the Victory Circle. Some great dudes in there. Would love to have you join. Hop in, introduce yourself, tell us where you're from. Lots of great dudes in there connecting and joining every day. So a couple of action steps. Practice your line. Write down your go-to phrase when someone offers you a drink, okay? Say it out loud until it feels natural. And do this with my clients as well. We practice this stuff. And I'll tell you, every single one of them, when they come back after practicing this, they say, man, that really helped a lot, actually. So practice is key. Pick up your social drink. Decide what you're going to drink beforehand. Decide if you're going to have a drink in hand. Decide what that is. Pre-game, your coffee, whatever it is. And then the third one, plan on new social activities. Find something fun this month. I'm going to challenge you right now. We're in almost the middle of March at this point. But for the rest of this month, find something that doesn't revolve around alcohol, sports, hobbies, a group, a new men's group, something in your community that you can do that doesn't revolve around alcohol. If this episode helped you today, this is exactly why I wrote the book, Sober Guy, How Do I? Real Answers for Men Who Want to Quit Drinking, Lead Strong, and Win at Life. Okay, there it is. Each chapter tackles a real question that guys ask when they're getting sober. And so here's what you can do next. I would love it if you grabbed a copy of the book. And not only that, I would love it if you left a review for me. You can find it on Amazon. I'd love it if you shared this episode with a friend. And then, like I mentioned already, join the Victory Circle men's community, our free online men's club, sober club at thatsoberguy.com. And I just want you to remember one thing as we wrap up right now. Staying social without alcohol, it's not about what's in your glass. It's about who you are when you show up. It's that authentic self. And when we tap into that, we bleed confidence, and we're positive, and we're exciting to be around, and we're excited to be around others and share and have those good conversations. The sober version of you, I promise you, is the strongest version yet. So thanks for tuning in today to That Sober Guy podcast. And don't forget to share it with a friend. Take care. God bless. Keep your blood clean.